Hey, hello everyone, welcome. It is the 22nd of September. Let me give you my thoughts on the market here as we're beginning this new week. Um, Definitely, we continue to remain in an uptrend. The moves here, remain pretty strong. It shows, the importance of following the trend. That's been the theme, from I don't know, weeks on end now, and we continue to kind of follow those procedures. Uh, we do have a little bit of a pullback in crypto, which I'll touch on, but the equity markets continue to show a pretty impressive strength in here, with a lot of stocks breaking and showing, I think, good participation overall across the markets. Now, I want to take a quick look at the technical picture, and then I'll come back to the Elliott Wave. I'll be just a second here because I wanted to, kind of show you how, in a little bit of a kind of moving average type, RSI type, kind of where we are. So, just a nice, clean, beautiful uptrend in here with the RSI at about 75. We're getting maybe a bit extended from this 50-day moving average. So a little bit of a pullback, a back and fill, it would not be, out of the ordinary. So, that from, you know, that point of view, I think that, expecting a little bit of a pullback is just that you don't know when that's going to happen. So, I'm expecting it. I would welcome it. It's not like I'm eternal bearish, the moment we're going to start to kind of pull back in here a little bit. But, so far there's no such signs, and we'll wait and see how the market kind of responds. This is the NDX, again, continuing to kind of move higher. We have a good move in the Dow, too, a bit slower. So let's go and take a look at IWM, which I think it made new all-time highs. I mean, the RSI is just nice and clean, not even overbought, not even in the overbought territory. So it's just in the kind of a trending area with increasing volume. So it's fine. You can see how the dips are getting bought. Semiconductors, are starting to stretch a little bit in here after this nice ABC, but that was a good signal. And then, Bitcoin is coming back. We are breaking below the 50 and the 20-day moving average. So remember, the signal that we got was the moment we broke above these levels, and we counted this in 5 ways, which I'll go, here and show you shortly. And the idea was that we weren't going to come back below these levels, and now we do. So I would say that this position that was bought in here, based on a continuation, this is now being eliminated at pretty much, at the break even, or very close to break even, trying to reduce any losses in case this market continues to correct lower. So we've broken this trend line, and we've broken below key moving averages, and to me these are important, enough of an important move, to elicit a response and just say, okay, well, I got to step out of here and just reassess the situation. Now, if we're having already a 5 move completion, this could be a second wave, which we'll take a look. But the market has to show us that, right? It needs to respond by, having buyers come in, and that so far, into today and yesterday, that really hasn't happened. All right, so let's quickly jump and take a look at the markets here. I'll get to Bitcoin too, but I'll start with the Nasdaq Composite here, which we're still in a pretty nice uptrend. You can make a 5-wave move out of this, but just because you can kind of see it, it doesn't mean that it's there and it's happening. You have no divergence. We're still targeting up towards 23,332, so it's another, whatever, 500, 600 handles points from here in the Nasdaq Composite. So I remain, kind of optimistic on this, and positioned, with my stock positioning on for further upside. I'm just trying to eliminate whatever it's not, making money. If it's lagging, or if it's not performing right, I'm eliminating that, because there's plenty of stuff that does work. And maybe I'll do a video tomorrow on kind of some of my positioning that I have, but it's still, they're not telling me to exit at this moment. Take a look at the Russell. I mean, look at this, right? On the weekly time frames, we were waiting for that break after this kind of ABC move, and we made just a marginal new high, but we're still closing near the highs of these moves, and that's important. We're looking for this move to continue to go. If you see it here on the daily time frames, there's no point yet to kind of count this. We're looking for a larger third wave, and you need to have kind of a deep enough correction to start thinking about placing labels on these moves. You can go in so many ways in here that there's not even worth it. So I will just leave this as a 1 and a 2, and then looking for a larger third wave there. And then in terms of the SPX, which is very similar with the Nasdaq, right? We're looking for the top of this wave 1 at some point. We'll see when that comes, but again, maybe a wave 3 in here with the wave, little bit of a wave 5 in progress. Again, not a lot of divergence in here. So first of all, we need to sell off below some key levels. Have some serious moves on the opposite side. They haven't shown up yet in the charts, and dips are continuing to get bought. So we're gonna stay and respect the trend to the upside. Maybe we'll get to 7,000 before any of that happens. So that's kind of my, again, it's not that I'm not that I would be surprised in case we're starting to kind of correct a little bit in here, but the market kind of has to show that. And then let's talk a little bit about IBIT, because I talked about this I think last week in one of the videos, and we showed a couple of levels, right? An impulsive move of these lows, and then looking for a larger wave 3, but we've talked about several levels. Talked about 64.38. If that tells you to initiate and start to begin looking at the long side, and then daily close above 66.75 on an IBIT again would have told us that it's maybe time to kind of add to those positions. That really hasn't happened. Maybe in Bitcoin it did. I'm not 100% sure if we really got in a daily close on Bitcoin above those levels. Let's see. No, not really. So that's, again, those are signs that the market is not as powerful. Now we're kind of sold off, a couple of gaps lower, and I was talking about, okay, well, this is an ABC, the WXY. You got to watch this level here, because that's very important. If you fail there, that could be another X wave, and you could start to extend below this low. Because think about this, right? Everybody that kind of bought here, what is the normal place to play stops? It's probably below this level, 61.31. And now the market, if the market fails up there and it moves lower, right, he's going to want to take out the stops below these levels. And if that happens, then you have almost like another 3-wave move in here, and it comes maybe back somewhere towards these levels, or maybe a little bit higher, what have you, into this trend line, and then we go, right? And then if we see a nice reaction from here, like in 5 waves, a wave 2, and then we'll see if we're going to get back above that. And that's kind of the plan with IBIT. And you can kind of use Bitcoin for similar. And maybe tomorrow I'll take a look at the chart of Bitcoin and kind of discuss that. But IBIT, it's clearly quite similar. Now there could be a chance that this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2. So let me just kind of delete these out of the way, and we can measure some fibs and see if how deep are we pulling back now. So you see, you're right at the 61.8. This level, it's like right there. It would be good to hold these levels. It would be good to hold these levels and start to move up. And if we do, then I would take a look at kind of how the daily candles look like and how much volume it's coming in. And I will not buy it just because it's a 61.8. We need the market to confirm. So we will confirm if tomorrow you're getting some kind of an engulfing candle with a little bit more buying in the volume, and then the market can be tested again and purchased probably above like this kind of 50-day moving average. So you want to see a nice white candle that overtakes this one and moves up into like a 116 or so, and then I would become interested again, just to kind of open a small position and then add on further confirmation. So so that's the game plan in Bitcoin. I don't, I got to respect what the market is saying, and there's nothing wrong, with the failed move. I mean, Bitcoin did all the right things and it moved that was supposed to, and it kind of cleared the levels that we wanted them to clear, and now it's kind of turning back. So, we're washing our hands of that and trying to, lose as little as possible, or maybe even, if you manage to do a little bit of a better entry, have a little bit of profit on that, and then watch the next move in here as it's kind of getting prepped. So we'll watch it. I mean, if this low gets taken down, then I would do expect this to maybe come into, let's say a 60 maybe into IBIT. I don't know what they would do to Bitcoin, but I guess they would be, something a little bit deeper. I mean, it would maybe even come below kind of 107, 108, I would think. I'm not sure how close it's being mimicked here in terms of the levels, but we will watch this. I guess our next solid level here, it's back at 110. But let's see, maybe we're holding here and we're starting to kind of turn, because if I zoom in, which I can try to do, let me just go to like a 3-month chart, and we can play some lines here. You can see that it took quite a bit of time for Bitcoin to break. I mean, the level right here, it's kind of clear, this kind of pivot, right? It's right there, it's right here. I mean, I can see it, and how much time it took before finally this happened, right? So we're back at the scene of the crime right there. And if we hold and we do something like that tomorrow, that would be nice. Then we know we've got buyers coming in, and I want to see some good volume too. So then, that would be a good signal. Until that happens, I'm not at all interested to buy just because it's support. I mean, yeah, you can scalp a little bit, but those are risky moves. I'm not doing that. It's just, I want to see something stronger, something better. They can say, well, Bitcoin now, it kind of shook some people out after this original move, and then is getting ready to break above 118 and really give me a strong move. So I will participate if that move starts to happen, but I'll be patient until I'm getting signals. So thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.